here today for Craftie Cafe, and for today's project I'm going to be once again using the stamp set here from Mary Ann Designs, the Tiny Chrysanthemums stamp set that I used in my last project for Craftie Cafe to create a Mother's Day card. And for today's project with this stamp set, I'm going to be pairing it with the hugs die from My Favorite Things to create a just like sending you hugs sort of themed card, just super fun that you can send to friends or family, whoever you like, really. It's just going to be a fun, bright, happy card. So this card also would be very easy to mass produce. I'm not going to be doing that today, but you definitely can do, since I'm not layering these stamps today. I'm literally just stamping the bases to create a fun background. So I'm going to be also using Lawn Fawn inks once again. They are absolutely my favourite inks. They just stamp so nicely and they dry back really well as well. So that's always a bonus, since they do look a little splotchy here. And the same tips go for my last video, where to use the eraser on these stamps before you use them, just to make the inks stick a little better. I just feel like this ink sort of pulls on them a bit too much. I think it's because I think these stamps are made from acrylic or something, not photopolymer, so they don't, I don't know, I don't feel like dye inks stick to them as well as other stamp sets do, so the eraser really helps with that. So anyway, I'm using Lawn Fawn inks, I'm using Ballet Slippers, Peach Fuzz, Peachy Keen, and also Minty Fresh. I then also do pull out Manatee as well, but I decided that there was nothing really in this stamp set, like little dots or anything like that, to be able to scatter around that would sort of suit the grey ink, so I decided to just leave that out. So I first decided to stamp out the images with the lightest colours first, and leave the Peachy Keen ink till last. So I decided to fill up a lot of the area with the lighter colours first, and now I'm going around the edges and using the Peachy Keen ink. For some reason, this one didn't want to stick sort of to the stamp as well, so it was really like blotchy, which that's why I tried to use it more so on the edges than on the middle of the panel, just because I feel like I wasn't going to get a very good impression with that colour. But in the end it worked out fine. So I just finished stamping the entire back of the background, and then I'm going to take some of this gold spray and then just flick on some gold specks onto the background as well. Then I heat set that with a heat tool, and I then cut that down with my paper trimmer as well, just to make it the same size as my card base. Now I'm using this hugs die from My Favorite Things, and I just cut that out of the middle of this piece of cardstock. I'm going to keep all of the center pieces as well, because I'm going to use some foam tape, and I'm going to pop up those letters and insert them into the middle of the card back again, just to give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm just using some some score tape in the 1/8 of an inch size, I believe, and I just went around all the backs of that hugs word, and then I adhered a scrap piece of white cardstock onto the back of that, so then I would have somewhere to adhere all my foam tape. You could do this directly on a card base. I don't really know why I didn't do that, but I just did it this way. But doing it directly on a card base would work just as well, unless you wanted to pop up the entire panel, which I didn't end up doing, but the option is there. So once I added all of those foam bits on there, I removed the backers, and then I'm adhering the letters into place. So I just took them all out of the die and just placed them into place. This one is really easy because there's no like middle pieces of the A or anything like that you have to adhere back in. It is just 4 letters, no little bits and pieces that you have to worry about, which is really nice. Now for the additional part of the sentiment, I just used the In My Heart stamp set, I believe, from My Favorite Things, and just stamped the little sending some sentiment with some Versamark ink, and then I'm just going to white heat emboss that. Then I'm using a little trick to cover up all of the specks of white embossing powder that were just like little stragglers on my black cardstock, and I just covered those up with a black Sharpie. Little trick for you there, it helps a lot, and so my embossing doesn't have to be perfect anymore. Then I just popped that up on some more foam tape and adhered it over the top of my hug sentiment, and then my card was all done. So I hope you enjoyed my card today and were inspired. I really love the sort of like hidden sentiment in the background, I guess. I mean, this one's quite obvious because I popped it up on foam tape, but I just think it looks super duper nice, and it really makes for a nice, clean and simple card, I guess. Something that's really easy to mass produce. So anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. All of the supplies will be listed down below and over at the blog post, and I will catch you all next time.